Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Kassandra and today I'm continuing my zodiac series. This is a yoga practice focusing on the mutable air sign of Gemini. So Gemini, third sign of the zodiac, it is my personal moon sign, so I am a little bit partial to it. This is going to be a very creative and fun flow. We'll have a lot of upper body poses and some balancing poses and just kind of creative poses and transitions in general to really cultivate the essence of Gemini. So Gemini is associated with the archetype of the muse, and Gemini is also a sign of polarity. So on one side or on one end of the spectrum, Gemini is super creative, a poet, the muse, a great writer, a great talker, able to adapt to multiple situations, able to fit in seamlessly, someone who is, great at talking and great at getting along and networking with other people. And on the other side, Gemini can also be a little bit flaky, a little bit erratic, and also even a little bit distant as well. So we have that polarity within ourselves when we're working with this essence of Gemini. Gemini, being an air sign, is really a great thinker, so gets a lot of inspiration from thoughts, from ideas, from people, and is really quick-witted as well. Again, on the flip side, that can be perhaps a little bit judgmental, maybe a little bit of gossiping or having a quick tongue, not necessarily in a super sweet, nice way. So maybe, lashing out at people a little bit. And Gemini is really also about trying to find balance between our heart or our feelings and our mind and our thoughts. So air signs tend to be in their heads a lot, and you might be a quick learner and really open to ideas and really able to express yourself clearly, but we also need to learn how to tap into our feelings and really make that connection. So the affirmations that we'll be using within this practice that really help us to cultivate the essence and the power and strength of Gemini. The first one is, I am innately creative. My heart and mind are in perfect harmony. My thoughts and ideas are worth sharing. So these are really the Gemini affirmations I want us to internally repeat to ourselves as we flow. So let's begin on hands and knees, tabletop pose. We'll do a circular version of cat and cow. So rather than keeping it really linear, where we just go up and down in the traditional way, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to trace some circles. So it's as if you're trying to paint circles with your sit bones and with your shoulders at the same time. And you end up going through cat and cow this way. Just breathe in and out through your nose. Starting to ask yourself how you relate to the sign of Gemini, to its strength and its weaknesses. I am innately creative. My heart and mind are in perfect harmony. My thoughts and ideas are worth sharing. And you can reverse, start to trace the circles in the opposite direction. Take about one more. And coming back through to your neutral tabletop pose, just walk your hands a couple inches past your shoulders, and we're going to move from child's pose to cobra in kind of like a wavy snake-like motion. So you're going to exhale to press yourself back. You might not be able to go all the way back, which is fine. And then you're going to ripple forward through tabletop and then lower into a little modified cobra. Big breath in, and as you exhale, push and slither all the way back. So still kind of doing that cat and cow motion. Inhale, round up into this cobra pose. Exhale, press it back. Take a few more here. And while we value our thoughts and ideas, we're also really trying to make that connection with how we feel, so that we're not just stuck in analyzing and overthinking, but we're really feeling and grounding it in. Last one here. Pressing back, and from child's pose, you can lift up, find your downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, lift the hips up and back, move in any way that feels good here. Relax your neck and your head. How can you connect with this archetype of the muse? How can you use your voice to inspire others? We're going to reach our right leg up towards the sky, bend your right knee, open up your hip, and let's step our right foot forward in between the palms to the top of the mat for our low lunge. Keep the back toes curled under here as you lift up, and you can make a little cactus shape with your elbows as you open through your chest, lift up through your heart, press your hips forward and down. My heart and mind are in perfect harmony. Let's interlace our hands behind the lower back with your toes curled under. Go ahead and lift that back knee off and tilt forward. Reach your knuckles up and over. And you're welcome to just kind of rest your thigh or rest your belly over your thigh. Keep trying to lift your knuckles up even higher. And we're going to go from here into our reverse warrior. So spin the back heel parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Push the feet into the mat. Left hand down, right arm up. Big side body stretch. I am innately creative. Into our half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. You're going to bring that right hand a little bit in front of your right foot as you push off of that back left leg and extend your left arm up. Squeeze into the muscles of that left leg to lift that heel up even higher. My thoughts and ideas are worth sharing. We're coming to our mountain pose, Tadasana. Come all the way to stand at the top of the mat. Roll your shoulders down and away from your ears. Palms shine forward. Close your eyes. Find your breath. And before we take our flow, let's come into Garudasana, our eagle pose. So you're going to bend into your legs. We're going to wrap our left thigh over the right, maybe keeping your toes on the mat, or you can loop your toes back behind your calf. With your elbows bent at a 90-degree angle, wrap your left arm under your right, binding once or twice. My shoulders are down, my elbows are up, my hands are moving away from me. Keep your gaze steady, find your balance here. And we're going to keep our eagle arms, finding warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. So uncross and lift your left leg up as you tilt forward. At most, you'll be parallel to the mat. Back into your mountain pose, release. Let's take our flow. Inhale, arms rise. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway lift, flat back. Plant your palms, plank pose, lower down, any version of the vinyasa that you would like. Downward facing dog. And from your downward dog, go ahead and bring your knees down to the floor. You can point your toes back and sit your hips towards your heels. We're going to reach our right arm up and over. Lift your hips up. So a little variation, almost like camel and wild thing together. And release, switch sides, right hand down, left arm stretches up and over. And release, downward facing dog. Let's find that sequence on the other side. Lifting up and back. Let's reach our left leg up to the sky. Bend your left knee, open up your hip. And we're coming into our low lunge. Left foot comes to the top of the mat, back knee comes down, lifting up. Bend your elbows, cactus shape here. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind you as you open up through your chest. Sliding your shoulder blades down your back. And you can interlace your hands behind you the more unusual way. So your other thumb on top, tucking the back toes under. We're going to lift the back knee off the mat and fold on down as you reach your knuckles up and over. So Gemini is also known as the social butterfly. But a little risk here is that we don't get lost in others. We still want to try to stay true to ourselves. Warrior 2, reverse, back heel spins parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Right arm down on your thigh, left arm up and back. So even though Gemini is super adaptable, able to fit in with lots of different people and situations, we don't want to get lost. We still want to stay true to ourselves. Into your half moon pose, left hand down on the mat, right arm up, kick that right leg up as high as it'll go. You're trying to stack your right shoulder over your left and your right hip over your left. Gemini is also the empowerment of communication, asking you what you want to share with the world. Let's find our mountain pose, lift on up. Roll your shoulders down, palms facing forward. Close your eyes. And we'll find Garudasana, our eagle pose, on the second side. I have so many flies on me right now, but that's okay. We're going to wrap our right thigh over our left, binding once or twice. And you're going to reach your right arm under your left, pushing your forearms towards one another, keeping your shoulders over your hips. Pull the lower belly in. Into our warrior 3, keep your eagle arms, just stretch that right leg up and back. Mountain pose, release. Let's take our flow. Inhale, arms wide, fold on down, release. Halfway lift, flat back. And find your vinyasa. We are meeting back in our downward facing dog. And now I'll give you an option here. You're either going to redo that little camel half wild thing variation that we did before, or you can come into your full wild thing pose. So for wild thing, we're going to reach that right leg up towards the sky, bend your right knee and continue to rotate over until you can drop the right foot down to the mat, push your feet into the floor, right arm stretches up and over. To me, this pose is the definition and expression of Gemini, opening through the throat, opening through the heart. This wild, creative expression. And back through your downward dog. We'll go right away to the other side, left leg up, bend your left knee, and you can flip on over. Left toes down, push both feet into the floor, and lift. I am innately creative. Back to your downward dog. My heart and mind are in perfect harmony. My thoughts and ideas are worth sharing. Lower your knees down to the mat. Take child's pose, balasana, any variation that you'd like. 5 deep breaths here. How do you most resonate with the sign of Gemini? And you can just come up to take a seat. We'll take a little seated twist here. Sitting cross-legged in any way that is suitable. You can bring your left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you, open through your chest. Draw your lower belly in and up. Try not to slouch or round. And release. Switch sides, right hand to your left knee, left hand back. Big twist here. Press your shoulders away from your ears. And release. We're just going to close and end with a short seated meditation. So close your eyes here as you sit up tall. How can you embody the archetype of the muse? How can you use your voice? Where can you gain more inspiration? How can you find harmony between your thoughts and your feelings? And internally repeating the affirmations one last time. I am innately creative. My heart and mind are in perfect harmony. My thoughts and ideas are worth sharing. Join your hands together at the heart. Let's close with the chant of Om one time. Big breath in. Inhale. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this Gemini-inspired flow with me. Before you head on off, leave me a comment. Let me know how this went for you. And if you have Gemini somewhere in your chart, I'm going to be continuing on with this zodiac series, so stay tuned for the rest. Please subscribe, and I will practice again with you very soon.